Welcome to the NBHL Game of the Week, Week 2. Last week we came to you from Pittsburgh. This week we're coming to you from South Jersey. It is Lakeland Caribou against Night's Watch in their first meeting of 2025. If they're anything like what we saw in 2024, we are going to be in for something special. I'm Matthew Aaron. Thank you so much for joining us for the NBHL Game of the Week, Week 2 edition. As you mentioned, these teams met so often last year in so many big spots. And now for their first 2025 meeting, Night's Watch coming in 1-0 on the season, having won earlier the day against Atlantic City Roulette. But last year, these teams played some incredible games in the New Jersey Tier 1 Championship. Night's Watch won the final series 2-0. They had late comebacks in both games, but they both made it to the national championships, and that's when Lakeland Caribou, as the 2 seed out of New Jersey, got their revenge because they won at the national playoffs, eliminating Night Watch in the postseason, and that is something they're both thinking about as they meet for the first time in 2025. We're going to be heading to Blackwood for the opening ball drop of this game of the week. In just a second, stay with us.
Whether you're ripping clappers from the blue line or dangling through defenders, Napper has the sticks, gloves, and protective gear to take your game to the next level. Designed for ball hockey players by ball hockey players, Napper delivers unmatched durability, performance, and style on the court. Don't settle for less. Gear up with Napper and own the game. Visit napper.com to check out their latest lineups. Now, back to the show.
Back in Blackwood, New Jersey, the NBHL Game of the Week, week number 2. Night's Watch and Lakeland Caribou. They played so often in so many big games last year. This one feels a little, not as if the stakes are lower, but it's a different kind of meeting between these two teams who have had a great rivalry developing. The Caribou are in green with the black shorts, all black. For Night's Watch, Matthew Aaron, thank you so much for being with us for this second week. As we mentioned, Night's Watch, they won their first game of the season against Atlantic City Roulette 3-0 earlier in the day, and then have to get up and play Caribou after that. Lots of storylines with interesting players and some superstars of ball hockey. We're going to get into that as the game goes on. Really fascinated to see how this game develops. Of course, Caribou, one of their big stories is they have a fill-in goalie in Cole Chrisman. He's wearing a red jersey. You see it right down here. As that shot from Tanner Ruppert, number 16, the defenseman goes wide from Night's Watch. Goalie for the Caribou is Robbie Snyder. He is injured. He plays national team ball hockey goalie, but unavailable right now, and that's why Chrisman is in between the pipes for Caribou tonight. That's a big storyline among many as we get into the meat of the action. 1 minute 30 in. This is being put towards the Night's Watch net with Robbie Mangini, one of the great goalies. He was on the U20 national team last year. This year on the U23 national team, he makes an early save and gets a hold for a whistle. Certainly, Night's Watch has the advantage in the goal, that's for sure, at least for today. But based on last year's history, I think you can tell that these teams, it's not the last time they're going to see each other. That's Doug Sanders, number 13, taking the draw, trying to pull it back for Caribou. Now for Night's Watch, it's Connor McStravick, who scored in that 3-0 win, tried to get the puck into the offensive zone. Not a whole lot developing there. And now Mike Malloy, the captain, number 97, put it out to the left wing, trying to get it out in front. That's another ball covered up by Mangini at the side of the net. So a lively start for the Caribou, getting this season going. In this, their first game. Last year, of course, as we mentioned off in the intro, they lost the final series 2-0, but the top 2 teams from each region make it to the national championships, and that's when the Caribou beat Night's Watch as that ball off the face-off deflects out of place. We're going to have to do it again to Mangini's right. They were the 2 seed Caribou because they didn't win the Tier 1 championship. And being the 2 seed didn't deter them from getting that win over Night's Watch in the national championship. Caribou again in the offensive end, trying to generate something as that shot was deflected wide and out back into the neutral zone, where number 29, Aiden Summers, defenseman, is going to try to fling it back in up the far boards. Not a whole lot of room there. Again, the Caribou with a lot of possession here early. as they try to get something pushed forward. Summers again down the right side. Got a little help from Ryan Gallen, the forward. He wanted to push it ahead, but nowhere for him to go. He was pushed back by Blake Gray. 92. He tried to bring it into the zone himself, but he didn't have any support. And it's the Caribou's turn to try to turn ahead. There's a turnover in the neutral zone. Evan Benedict trying to push it along, but nothing doing there. That was Landon Aubrey, another defenseman, trying to play it in ahead, but it's back into the offensive zone for the Caribou. 3 minutes in, not a whole lot of great chances either way, but it doesn't take these teams much to generate something. Mike Henry down behind the net, real first offensive attacking zone look as he tries to stuff that in short side to get another chance, and that didn't work. Trying to get it beyond Crispin. Mike Henry was the league MVP in 2023 for Knights Watch. Last year's New Jersey MVP was number 16 for Caribou, Connor Callahan. So some real superstars of ball hockey in this game, as you'd expect with these teams being 1 and 2 in the New Jersey region. Henry works his way in over the line. Just does keep it in. Into the corner, it's Ryan McCormick. He's trying to dig that ball out. McCormick comes to the circle with a shot, and he scores. What a nice goal from McCormick. He was able to get just a little bit of room here in this left circle. Just digged it out of the corner there against the defender. Found a tiny bit of space, and there isn't a whole lot of room, and he ends up ripping it short side and putting it by Cole Chrisman, the fill-in goalie for Caribou, and it is Knights Watch that has the game's opening goal. Henry gets an assist on that, as well as Evan Benedict, number 54, the captain for this team. And that is a good start for Knights Watch, trying to build on their win from earlier. And on we go. That puck was immediately iced, and so we're going to have to come back down to the other end. Definitely looks like Knights Watch came out, defended pretty well, and then first real push into the attacking zone. It leads to a goal almost immediately. Draw was put towards the net, through the crease and wide. That was from McStravick. He scored in the first game in that 3-0 win, and Caribou is going to try to set the table to look to respond to that early goal. They've had more of the chances, had more of the ball in the offensive zone. Coming in is Rupert. He tried to play that through. It didn't work out. And this is Caribou trying to reset again. Turn down low. That's a nice save there for Mangini off of Marchese. Mike Marchese, number 88. Comes along down low. This is Jack Gallen, number 4. Trying to rim it around the boards. Caribou once again establishing offensive zone time about halfway through this opening period. That was Marchese who sends it along. Back behind the net with Gallen, who's set up there. Tries to stuff it around short side. Mangini makes the save. Now he'll try to set the table from up top, and that's exactly what he does. And Caribou gets the goal from Trevor Altman. A beautiful setup for the defenseman jumping into the play. Can't ask for much better. Tanner Rupert, the defender here, who scored in that first game for Knights Watch. He's got good position until he didn't have good position. Right here, gives him a little bit of space, and look at how Altman jumps into the play. Nobody picked him up. Blew that by Mangini, and we have a 1-1 game about halfway through the first. So that's what you'd expect from two good teams playing each other. Caribou dominated offensively, gave up a goal on a wear time spent in the defensive zone, and then they get the goal right back. So it's 1-1, little more than halfway through the opening period. Now it's Night Watch's turn to respond. Jared Maska, defender down in the corner. He tried to get it out in front. And Crispin had the near post covered. And now it'll be Caribou's turn to reset as Knights Watch backs off a little bit. We got 2 forward stationed right at the blue line. Of course, remember, there's a floating blue line in ball hockey, which means you have to get the ball cleared over the red line in order to be fully clear once you've established the zone like this. This is Mike Malloy, captain trying to bring it in, but Knights Watch forces the turnover. Gray down the wing. A lot of defensemen activating in this game as he tried to pass it along up the left wing to Hofstrom, who also scored in that 3-0 win we mentioned earlier. Nothing comes of that, and it's Caribou's turn to attack the other way. Try to get the ball down low, and that is a good save from Mangini. Short side, didn't have a ton of room to aim at, but Mangini's been sharp early. 3.5 minutes to go in the first period of a 1-1 game. Gallen had a little trouble settling that down. Ryan Gallen, or 10, he tried to hold on to that. It was sent all the way down, and we'll come back to the other end after another icing. As we mentioned earlier, Mike Henry from Knights Watch won Jersey Tier 1 MVP in 2023. Connor Callahan from the Caribou won the Tier 1 MVP New Jersey last year. And a bunch of these players also play national team ball hockey as well. Here's Henry to hold it up. Coming all the way back in the play to help set the table. Knights Watch into the offensive zone, but not able to do a whole lot with that, and they're going to try again. You can see where Henry's positioned right along the near boards here, being helped to push the ball ahead, which he's going to do. But didn't have a ton of help, and the ball is slapped over the blue line. McCormick trying to save it. Henry had to push it back. There's a bit of a physical duel in the neutral zone, and that was Dylan Convery, defender, trying to push it ahead once again. Maybe an opportunity there, but good sticks in the way. Jason Hoffman, forward, defensively doing the work to prevent a scoring chance. Getting late in the first period. Still 1-1. More Knights Watch attacking zone opportunity here. That shot was blocked in front. Trying to clear. Caribou finally do. Knights Watch again over the line. Opportunity for Benedict, but that shot gets deflected up and out of play. Benedict had a little space for a second. Team captain, he's been a little quiet to start the game. But that ball deflected over the boards and out of play, so get the draw in the neutral zone. Caribou had the rink tilted in their favor to start the game, and Knights Watch has tilted it back in their favor as Ruppert logged it in, and it's covered up by Chrisman. Game settled in after that fast start with the 2 goals. You can see we've got about a minute and a half to go in the opening period of this second game of the week. Last week, if you were with us, and we're thankful that so many of you were. You watched the opening game from Pittsburgh last week. Now we go to South Jersey this week. Going to go all around ball hockey for our game of the week coverage. Wherever the best game is, you'll find it. Turnover just inside the line. Opportunity for Caribou, but it's held on to by Mangini. It's a good save. Rare turnover just inside the line. Callahan and Malloy were lurking. They wanted an opportunity. Minute 20 to go here. As Marchese tried to pull it back. And was sent wide as Jack Gallen goes to chase it down in the corner. Has to work up the boards to try to find space. Aubrey watching him. A lot of behind the goal line. Looks to set up plays in the early going of this game. That's turned towards the net. Another solid save for Mangini, who just held it there. It's a long way out. Really difficult angle to make anything happen. But it's held there. One thing you'll say about Knights Watch is, other than the goal, I don't know how many balls have gotten through to Cole Crispin, the backup goalie as we said, Robbie Snyder is injured, the goalie for the Lakeland Caribou. So Chrisman is the fill-in, and still very good from the early evidence tonight, but hasn't been tested enough yet. Callahan scampers up the right wing, looking to center, and he gets it back up high. And that shot from Marchese was blocked. Grabbed in the neutral zone by Gavin Ambrose, number 5. They're able to post it up into the zone. And Knights Watch will reset. There is not a lot of time left in the first period. Maybe one more rush with 13 seconds to go, and I think they're content to head into the first intermission 1-1. Pretty good first period for both teams. They each get a goal. Exciting work from both of them in their first meeting after the 2024 series featured so much great action. 1-1 here in the first. Stay with us for the second period of the NBHL Game of the Week.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like ass. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages, because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
First intermission of our NBHL Game of the Week for Week 2. Lakeland, Caribou, and Knights Watch. It's 1-1 as we head into the first intermission. The second period's coming up shortly. Matthew Aaron, so great to have you with us this week. Not the high-flying intensity you would expect from these teams based on their series last year, but still a pretty good first period, pretty even first period. The first goal was for Night Watch, which was Ryan McCormick. First real look for them going forward in the offensive zone. Nice setup from Henry and Benedict. A lot of the big guns for Night Watch get that going, but then the Caribou respond. Jack Allen was doing a really good job setting up the play from behind the net, and then nobody picked up the defenseman jumping into the play. Trevor Altman, most valuable defenseman in New Jersey Tier 1 last year. So the Stars are out to shine for this first meeting between Lakeland Caribou and Knights Watch in 2025. The second period is coming right up. Second period about to get underway. As we mentioned, 1-1 between Knights Watch and Lakeland Caribou. They've switched ends after a pretty even first period. Knights Watch scored first, Caribou scored second. But these teams, there is no doubt more to come. They are too familiar with each other, and they're too good for this game to be as kind of a feeling out process as it turned out to be in that whole first period. There's a quick slap shot right on net, and Malloy makes the save. That didn't take very long, did it? Flashing the leather right there. I'm sure that shot was probably going to go wide, but can't be too sure. And Mangini added a little extra English on it. Good glove save, too. Left-handed catching goalie, and he was sharp. Both goalies were sharp. And credit to Cole Chrisman, the fill-in goalie for Caribou, who's playing pretty well in the first period in the limited amount of rubber that he saw. That's thrown towards the net. I think it came back to Mangini. That one certainly did. There was a scrum in front for a second as the Caribou starting this period off lively. Malloy from behind the net, another chance. That too came wide. So the Caribou starting the first period, second period like they started the first. A lot of pressure. This thrown all the way back to the red line. Again, floating blue line. So you're going to see the defenseman camped up just inside of the red line to try to set plays up and get a little bit more space. That's thrown out in front, and another ball that's held by Mangini. Both teams making changes, both teams getting fresh players onto the rink. We've had no penalties yet in this game. Been very cleanly played. You can kind of expect the intensity to pick up at some point as Malillo tried to get that through. Didn't quite work out. And now about 1.5 minutes into the period, finally Knights Watch gets in with Hofstrom, number 8, in the corner. That one's heard towards the net wide of Chrisman. That was McStravick trying to dig it out from behind the net. Now alley-ooped out into the neutral zone. Billy Wharton trying to hustle to get it, number 14, pushing the defenseman back. Eventually, that's Dylan Convery, number 76, who has it covered. Goes D to D. And looking for an outlet up the wall, that's McStravick just coming deep to help. Night's Watch having trouble getting the ball out of the zone. And on to Benedict. Opportunity perhaps, a good save there on McStravick by Chrisman. Really the first chance that Night's Watch has had in this period, and it's a running shot. Not a lot of power on it. Pretty easy save for Chrisman there. Not a whole lot he had to do. Caribou trying to get it out on the backhand. They do another slap shot. That one had some heat on it from Aubrey and ended up going wide. Back in the corner, Night's Watch again with the ball. Back up high to the point. That's a nice move there by Jared Maska. He put it wide of the net, came out in front for a second. Chrisman made another good save. So a couple of nice opportunities here for Night's Watch, and you could see the move that Maska made, and then this came off the backboards, lively backboards there. And then there's a couple of opportunities for Benedict in front. He got 2 cracks at it, but he couldn't get either to go beyond Chrisman. So he's sharp down low. Talked about both goalies playing very well to start this game. Ambrose flung it along those far boards, but he didn't get it all the way out. Night's Watch going to try again. It was Gray just trying to keep his balance. Those sticks checks could definitely knock you off balance. And good weather tonight. No slick surface. As I said, makes for a cleanly played game. McCormick cross ice. There's another shot that is stopped. That came from Gray on Chrisman. He had to squeeze that between his shoulder and his mask. And he was able to hold on. So it's Chrisman who's been tested quite a lot of late, but he's doing a really good job. Good positioning. You can see standing outside of his crease. And he's challenged the shooters and done a good job of keeping out everything other than the Ryan McCormick shot early in the first period. You see 6:43 to go in the second. Caribou started this second period with a lot of offensive zone time. It's Night Watch's turn now. Caribou finally clear the zone they have. Sanders hacked it away, trying to center it, but too many sticks in the passing lanes. And can Henry push this forward? Trapped in the corner, he needs support. Finally gets some. Wanted to turn it onto his forehand. That's another good save by Chrisman, and he holds on there. Gray was coming at the far post, backdoor play, as Henry protected the ball really well on his stick. And Gray eventually got himself a pretty decent scoring chance. So, a lot of Night's Watch pressure. Let's see if it pays off into something. Another offensive zone draw for them right here. Starting to see the 2023 MVP Henry get a lot more chances. He's got the ball here with a backhand shot, deflects in. Well, speak of the devil, Mike Henry able to force that ball just over the shoulder of Chrisman. We'll get a look at it from behind the net. He gets the ball right here off the face-off. Did that touch something on the way in? It might have. Jake Maska won the draw and gets the assist. And so Night's Watch with a 2-1 lead. And so after all of that pressure, finally they were able to put it beyond Cole Chrisman, who did everything he could, but at some point, defense in front of you has got to push the ball out of your defensive zone and into the offensive zone. That's not what happened. And Night's Watch now looking for more. McStravick's shot was blocked. Malloy got back defensively to block the shot. And the Caribou, are they going to have offensive zone time? Are they going to have possession of the ball? Trying the alley-oop pass into the neutral zone. Finally able to knock it down and push this ahead with Sanders in the right wing. Sticked away by Benedict. Another long pass, trying to stretch it all the way down. It's going to be an icing. McStravick was the intended recipient of that. We're seeing these teams try a lot of these alley-oop stretch passes, and lots of them thus far have been unsuccessful. But it is a strategy, a good strategy with the floating blue line, because it's not as if it's easy to get it over the blue line in this game. It's not really been a lot of neutral zone play. It's been extended offensive zone time for both teams for 2-3 minutes at a time, and then possession will shift. That point shot from Callahan never reached the net. Opportunity here, and that's a good save from Chrisman on McStravick, who got in behind. Another chance was blocked. And there was a good look for Knights Watch to make it 3-1. That stretch pass worked out pretty well there. Caribou with an opportunity, trying to shove that in short side, was Callahan, the league MVP from last year. Couldn't do so. More aerial passes. It's going to roll on net, sticked wide by Chrisman. He's got help back there now. Caribou trying to clear the zone. Now they'll have a little bit of room to do so. Over the line, that's fired in. Callahan trying to fire it in from just inside the blue line in the neutral zone, and it hit off of something, and out of play it went. If you're going to ask who's looked sharper of these two teams, Knights Watch, having played a game already earlier in the day, I think that's what you could say right now. It's Caribou. They've had a few more of these long stretches hemmed in their own zone, but they have more than enough talent to make up for it and find their rhythm as the game goes on. This is Palumbo, Tom Palumbo, number 99. He tried to break it in on the left wing and had it taken away. McCormick's going to lead the rush the other way. Sharp angle shot. Oh, that actually went through Chrisman and came out the other side. He got enough of it to steer it wide, although I think he'll tell you he probably wanted to squeeze that between his pads. Henry behind the net. Trying to set it up, and he lost his balance. I don't think that shot got on net. Chrisman was there to block that angle anyway. Aubrey wanted to get it through. He just has to pirouette it back down low again with 3:25 to go in the period. Ambrose has help. Tried to swing that through for Hoffman. It comes all the way through, but it was tipped, not icing. Maska's back defensively, and he has some room now to get it ahead. Henry looks forward. Has Maska on the left wing, but nothing comes of that. Games again after that goal from Knights Watch. It's just kind of settled down again. Not a whole lot of great scoring chances as Malloy trying to get through all these black shirts just on the other side of the red line. They're able to establish the zone here. And a point shot passed up on as it's down to Callahan, who plays it behind the net. Another long shot. I don't think that got through. Down is Mangini trying to stretch out for it, and he finds the ball in a whole lot of chaos. So you can see that this comes to the right side. It's a nice setup from Malloy. Gets a point shot in. There's a rebound for a second, and then another hack at it. Malloy was there. A couple of others were there. That's Will Callahan is trying to hack everything they can towards the cage, and eventually Mangini covered that shot and had very little chance from a sharp angle, went high over the top. To the point. That was Will Callahan. Couldn't get it through. Luke Malloy, very patient, and this also didn't have a chance. Tanner Rupert got his stick in the way, and Knights Watch clears. This will not be icing. Someone has to go back to get that, and for the Caribou, they finally have a chance to reset. And that's Will Callahan with 1:43 to go in period number 2. More trouble getting into the zone. Maska stands his man up at the blue line. All the way back is Convery. Sanders hassling him, trying desperately to win the ball back. And after all that running, comes to nothing. Maska tried to center it. It rolled off of Gray. He had all the room in the slot that he wanted, but Chrisman ends up covering. Plenty of room to work with there for Gray, but just rolled off the end of his tape. Tough break for him there as Knights Watch, since they've gone up 2-1, haven't had a ton of chances to make it 3-1. A few. Off the draw. Loose in that face-off circle. Off the boards, Aubrey trying to hold it in, which he has. Minute to go here in the second of this NBHL Game of the Week for Game 2. Coming towards the end of the second period. Another long outlet pass. It's too far for Marchese, and Mangini smothers it. Face off to Mangini's right. That's circle draw. Henry comes all the way back to set the table. As the period comes closer to an end, another long skyscraping pass that was to really no one in particular. Malillo, haven't had a chance to talk too much about him. Joe Malillo, number 20, one of the better defenders in the game. He tries to send it ahead, but turned it over. Night Watch get one more before the end of the period. That shot shouldered off by Chrisman. About 20 seconds to go. Caribou moving through the neutral zone. They got to hustle to get another chance going. It's Callahan. That was stopped. Out of position, Mangini, for a second. He got back to his feet. Got his balance back. Ball is just hemmed in the corner there. It looked like anyone's going to get a chance before the horn goes. Another long shot. That was blocked. And that is the end of period number 2. Knights Watch with the goal from Mike Henry has them ahead 2-1 heading into the third period.
Whether you're ripping clappers from the blue line or dangling through defenders, Napper has the sticks, gloves, and protective gear to take your game to the next level. Designed for ball hockey players by ball hockey players, Napper delivers unmatched durability, performance, and style on the court. Don't settle for less. Gear up with Napper and own the game. Visit napper.com to check out their latest lineups. Now, back to the show.
Knights Watch has a 2-1 lead over the Lakeland Caribou in our second NBHL Game of the Week of 2025. Matthew Aaron, thank you for being with us for the second intermission. One goal in that period, and it came, unsurprisingly, from Mike Henry, the 2023 League MVP for Knights Watch. His first goal of the season. Did a really good job getting into position. Maska set him up with a nice play off the faceoff. And then the rest of the period was a lot of, not back and forth, but good offensive zone time for each team. Good saves. You can see Mangini making some good saves here to maintain the lead, and Chrisman making some good saves to keep it at 2-1. For a goalie who's filling in for the injured Robbie Snyder, he's doing a very good job of keeping the Caribou in it. We've got a really fun third period coming up. Can Knights Watch keep it going, or will the Caribou have another comeback and steal a win? We'll find out in the third period, coming right up. The third period about to get underway. Knights Watch leading it 2-1 over the Lakeland Caribou. And so let's see what Caribou have on offer immediately. Ball dumped in and covered by Mangini, who, as we mentioned in the second intermission, was tested pretty well, but he has been sharp. Cole Chrisman has also been sharp, and again, he's filling in for the injured Robbie Snyder and doing a very good job of it. Caribou trying to get one quickly. That shot was saved by Mangini. Good save there. Turnaround on Malloy. It's pretty good work from this Lakeland Caribou team. Down 2-1. They've had some pressure, and now they've got to get a lot more of it. But Knights Watch to break it ahead with Gray. And when ahead of the play was McStravick. It's just going to go in the corner. I think the play was offside, so all the way back we go. Might have also been icing, I think. Couldn't tell who won the race, but the draw is going to come back down here into the Night's Watch zone. First game of the year for the Caribou. Night's Watch trying to improve their record to 2-0. After having beaten the expansion team, Atlantic City Roulette 3-0 earlier. And that's a draw pulled all the way back to the corner. Gray going to hustle over to get it. He's going to try to use the wall. Good stick check again from the Caribou. They're doing a good job of keeping it. Another slap shot. I don't know if that ever made it to Mangini. It ends up deflecting into the crowd anyway. You would think Caribou is just going to start firing stuff on net as much as they possibly can at this stage. And why wouldn't you? You're down 2-1. You don't have to take a ton of risks as that point shot comes in wide. Back to that floating blue line, but not a whole lot the Caribou can do. This is going to come down the other end as a race, almost tucked in there. How about Gray with the good hustle, trying to get in ahead of the field. Crispin was there to knock it away. Nice watch, keep it in the offensive zone, but the Caribou eventually take the ball back. It's been patient offensively from the Caribou today. They've done a really good job of not forcing too much. Ryan Gallen will chip and chase. It's going to come to this far side. Gallen forces the turnover off of Rupert. Comes out in front, and they score. It is Ryan Gallen who ends up getting the goal. It's Will Gallen who ends up setting the table for it. Brother to brother, and it's a little forecheck here. You can see how it develops, and it's just ripped right there from that circle. And nice play there from Will Gallen. He did the dirty work, and Ryan Gallen gets to finish it off. So now it's 2-2. And that patience doing good work for the Caribou as they have tied this game up. We've alternated goals here in this game. Night's Watch then Caribou. It was in the first period. Night's Watch scored in the second. And now the Caribou have it even. And a chance for the first time tonight to perhaps take the lead. Trying to patiently build up through the neutral zone into the offensive zone. Jack Gallen with the ball behind the net. Trying to create space. He has. That stop was stopped. The rebound, he scores. He got his own rebound and put it in. And now both the brothers have a third period goal. Look at the patience here from Jack Gallen. He gets the setup from Connor Callahan and Mike Marchese, who got the second assist. And look at the patience he has. First shot was blocked, comes right back to him kindly, just puts it in that top corner. And for the first time tonight, it is the Lakeland Caribou with the lead. And they didn't take too long to get that game turned around. It was only about a 45-second gap between the goals. How about that? Caribou, who won in that national playoffs that we talked about, Night's Watch, when they played in the New Jersey Tier 1 finals last year. They won both of those games via late comebacks. Well, Caribou flipping the script here. A late comeback of their own. There's still plenty of time, though, for Night's Watch to get back into this game and to tie it up. Look for overtime, but pressure's now on them. They've been putting game pressure on the Caribou all night. And the switch is flipped with 6:45 to go in the third. Caribou hunting for a 2-goal lead, but unable to get anything settled in the offensive zone. No penalties in this game, and still no one. It was Jack Gallen brings in and shoots it, stopped by Mangini. The rebound was loose for a second. Comes front of the net. And eventually Masca is able to settle it down and put a lid on the play. Mangini was tested, turned over in the neutral zone, intercepted by Marchese, who should have banked it off the short boards. A little indirect pass didn't work out. Played back in by Aiden Summers. Another long stretch pass all the way down. That's iced by Night's Watch. Get a chance to look at this opportunity. Look at the skill, by the way. You didn't see that in real time, but how about that skill from Marchese? He just bats it out of midair. What hand-eye. I think Mancini got a little pad to it, but it ended up going wide. But the hand-eye and the skill that you have in these ball hockey players, it's still really, really good. Different skill set than, obviously, the ice hockey cousins, but that's a heck of a play. Here is Ambrose to look for a pass. He'll pirouette a backhand into the neutral zone. Trying to play it ahead. That was Henry who forces it up the wall. It's going to get another crack going cross rink. Trying to find Benedict. He will look for a shot in short side. That didn't connect. Get it wrapping around in front. Nobody knows where the ball is for a second. That was Crispin who was down and out looking for it. Henry finds it again. Loose at the side of the net. Again, Crispin doesn't know where it is, but eventually he realizes he squeezed it between his pads. Close call there for Crispin. I think the worst feeling as a goalie is how many degrees can you turn your head around, look for the ball, and hope you find it? In that case, he did find it. Another face-off win for the Caribou. They try to clear the zone. With Gallen, he ends up pivoting it onto the wing. This is Will Gallen. That's held by Mangini. See, we've got little less than half of this third period to go. 4:54 to go in Blackwood, New Jersey. Another scrum right out in front. Who's going to get to it? Mangini was definitely down and out, but nobody could put that beyond him. Slap shot. That was blocked in front. That came from Malloy. He's got it again. That came out in front. That deflects long way out of play. It was Gallen trying to get a shot away. I think Gray got a piece of it. He's down for a second. He's just tying his shoe, but that got deflected into the parking lot. So it's still 3-2 Caribou with the lead as they look to, I think, go get another ball, but because it deflected off a stick, it comes back into the neutral zone here. Face-off pulled this way. Malloy forces it down low. Convery will try to spin it up the boards, now has to use the other route. That's a dangerous backhand pass, but found a way to get it to McStravick. Gray, another alley-oop. Henry tracks it down. Henry under pressure, tries to spin free behind the cage. Playing keep away himself. One of the best players in ball hockey. Fires a shot, loose in front. It's covered by Crispin. I think that was deflected off of some number of sticks on the way in. Couldn't tell whose stick. But Henry, who scored earlier today along with Ryan McCormick, these are the kinds of players that Nice Wash is going to need if they want to force overtime here. It'll be Gray. Yes, that is a defender taking a face-off that he wins clean. Didn't look like a defender there, but he won that too clean and forced Maska to go all the way back into his own zone to get it. Caribou will try this way to get it up and out of the zone. Well, that one nearly took some fans out. They could watch it right in front of the boards, and you got to be careful down there. Oh, there's no plexiglass in ball hockey. There's only cage and some netting behind the net. That's about it. Night's Watch has about 3.5 minutes to try to get this thing tied up. That deflects out of play. right between the benches off of Aubrey, so the draw is going to come right back in front of the Knights Watch bench. Still 3-2 Lakeland Caribou trying to hold on in their season debut for a win. It would be 2 straight wins over Knights Watch, dating back to the national playoffs from last year. Desperate to try to clear Knights Watch. That shot came through for a second. It was sitting in the slot, but eventually Knights Watch clears it. They've got it in the offensive zone. Hofstrom looking for some space. He found Maska behind the net. It's back with Hofstrom. He tried to shimmy away around the defender, and there wasn't any room. It's cleared all the way in by a hustling Callahan, and I think they're going to call that icing. They will.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like ass. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages, because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
That was an icing and a timeout, so offensive zone draw. Knights Watch, again, desperate to try to take this game back under control and get this to overtime. They had the lead 1-0 and 2-1, and they have since given it up in this third period. There is only 2:10 to go. Knights Watch will send it ahead. This comes all the way through. That shot wide from McStravick. And Caribou, again, has possession. Just going to lob it all the way down. Gray knocked it down with his hand, and then that pass is too far for Henry. It's going to be risk-taking time for Knights Watch if they want to get this ball in the offensive zone and try to pump some rubber towards Chrisman. But they're struggling to do that right now. They've struggled to do that a good chunk of this third period. Good stick check. Took it away from Henry. Down the wing. This is Malloy. Pressured by Gray. And with 1:13, they're just trying to play keep away. And Gray is trying desperately to get the ball. And he didn't get the ball. In fact, he got a lot of the man, and that's a penalty. And that's the last thing that Knights Watch needed to happen. Just right here in the corner. One check's fine, and the second check is not. He dumps Malloy to the ground, and that's a penalty on Blake Gray. So it's a 90-second penalty, and there, as you can see, there's only 67 seconds left on the clock. So Caribou are going to have a power play and a chance to basically bleed the clock dry if they can keep possession in the offensive zone. If Knights Watch get it, they'll only have a chance. And that shot came through wide. It sent Mangini scrambling. They're going to have to get in the zone. It'll only be 5-on-5. Ball comes back into the neutral zone. Look at McStravick. Everything he's got left in the tank, but they're a man short. So it's going to be hard to get the ball in these situations. Hammered in by Malloy. Right now, if you're Caribou, you might as well just keep it there. So, some college basketball Dean Smith four corners offense at this point. That's basically what they're doing. Malloy will play it down the wall. 19 seconds to go. They're going to get a slap shot in from Gallen, Ryan Gallen. It got blocked. It's still loose in front. Cleared all the way down. Not a lot of time yet. McStravick desperate to try to get to it. He couldn't get to it. Caribou flip it into the neutral zone and now into the offensive zone. They have more numbers. They will wait, put it towards the front of the net. The shot goes wide, but the horn goes, and that's going to do it. The Caribou with 2 third-period goals from the brothers Ryan and Jack Gallen. That is what the difference is for the Caribou with a 3-2 win. We'll be back to wrap this one up right after this.
Whether you're ripping clappers from the blue line or dangling through defenders, Napper has the sticks, gloves, and protective gear to take your game to the next level. Designed for ball hockey players by ball hockey players, Napper delivers unmatched durability, performance, and style on the court. Don't settle for less. Gear up with Napper and own the game. Visit napper.com to check out their latest lineups. Now, back to the show.
The Lakeland Caribou pulling off a late comeback. The Callahan brothers get both of the goals in about a 40-second span in the third period. They take it over Knights Watch 3-2. Matthew, Aaron, again, thank you for being with us. This wasn't the intense, massive kind of game that we have gotten between these teams in the past, but both the Callahan brothers showed out in the third period. You've got Ryan Gallen scoring first. Will Gallen helped set it up. It's a nice play around the net, those two. You'd imagine they have good chemistry, and they do. And then Jack Gallen gets it, too, off his own rebound, assisted by Callahan and Marchese. Good work for the Caribou. It happened really quick, and Knights Watch just unable to mount that final push towards the end of the game to come back. But this is not the last time we're going to see these teams play each other, and the stakes will be higher the next time they come, and they will be high again next week for our next NBHL game of the week. Matthew, thank you for being with us. We will see you next week.